Hey, happy Friday to you. It is February 4th and time for this week's Friday Funnies. Coming to you from Ice Station Zebra. Man, this week in Chicago, we got over 20 inches of snow, and then that was followed by sub-zero temperatures. They're calling this the third worst storm in Chicago history, but I don't think that's really t-shirt worthy. You know, I was going to print up some, but who's going to buy a t-shirt that says, I survived the third worst storm in Chicago history? It's better to call it the storm of the century, even though the century is only like 11 years old. And we also celebrated Groundhog Day this week. Groundhog, that's when Charlie Sheen pokes his head out of a pile of snow, and if he sees a hooker, it's 6 more weeks of rehab. And this week was also the start of Chinese New Year. Happy Year of the Rabbit to all of our Chinese friends. Over there, they are calling this year 4709. Which ironically is going to be the same year on our calendar when we finally pay them back everything that we owe them. And if that wasn't enough, Sunday is the Super Bowl, or as we call it in Chicago, Passover. That being said, here's this week's news story number 1. In Atlanta, a woman by the name of Jazz Sinkfield has a gift, and she says she wants to share it with the world. Her gift is her fingernails. They're over 20 inches long, longest one being 24 inches long. She claims it's a gift because nobody else can do it, and she also believes it to be a fashion statement. Now, she said she does take kidding from other people, but claims there's nothing that they can do that I can't do, except for 3 things. I can't tie my shoes, or use a computer keyboard, or go bowling. Really? Those are the only 3 things you can't do? Because I'd love to call you for a match of table tennis or possibly watch you dial a cell phone, and you just can't convince me that going to the bathroom is as easy as it sounds. All right, from here, story number 2. We've got Reptile Tales for you this time, and that's 2 Reptile Tales. First, let's start off in the South. You know, it's often been joked that a redneck's last words are, "Hey, y'all, watch this." But I think that may have been the case this week in Nashville, Tennessee, where a 26-year-old man died after being bitten by a copperhead snake. Now, the part about this story that's odd is that Wade Westbrook was bitten by the snake while he was handling it, trying to determine its sex. Why would anybody want to do that? There's no reason to do that. A poisonous snake is a poisonous snake, and none of them like to be handled. So that's why I think that this particular handling had to be prefaced by Wade's words to his friends saying, "Hey, y'all, who wants to see a snake's wiener?" From here, let's take a reptile tale from the north, where Eric Rourke of Fair Lawn, New Jersey, needs to learn the meaning of the phrase caveat emptor. Caveat emptor. It's a Latin phrase that means don't trust the salesman. Because what Eric did is he bought himself some poisonous snakes. He bought a rattlesnake, and he bought a copperhead, and he also bought a cobra, under the assumption and the promise that the snake's venom sacs had been removed. Now, this is what happens when you buy your poisonous snakes from some guy who's got a stand by the side of the road. Anyhow, Eric discovered that his snakes were still loaded when he reached into the cobra's cage to feed the cobra, and the cobra mistook his hand for a mongoose. Eric is still in the hospital. The cobra is now a belt. And our last story this week. Our last story comes to us from the African nation of Malawi, where they are making it a crime to break wind. That's right, the government said they want to punish those who personally pollute the environment in order to build better, more responsible citizens. I want to know how they're going to catch the offending party. What are they going to do? Hang out in bars and union halls and just wait to trap a tutor? I mean, you know, it's going to be impossible to try and nab the right person because everybody's going to blame somebody else. The young people are going to blame the old people are going to blame the dog. Finally, the government said that they are hoping that the offending parties will turn themselves in under the ancient Malawi custom of he who smelt it, dealt it. Hey, that's all I have for you this week. Thanks for watching the Friday Funnies Deep Cold edition. Be sure to join us next Friday for our special pre-Valentine's Day edition. Until then, wherever you're at, keep warm. And I'll see you next Friday.